Hi, Reggie, back speaking about healing America's narratives. And today we want to move into a brief look at Yale professor Nicholas Christakis' work, specifically in his book, Blueprint, the subtitle of which is The Evolutionary Origins of a Good Society. And I'm going to just read briefly from my own book where I summarize Professor Christakis' work. And again, as with Peck, Hubel, and Sharma, this is a real brief synopsis of a rather large body of work, which warrants a reading in detail and cannot be captured, but only perhaps referred to in a 3 or 4 minute video, such as this. So Christakis argues that the social suite, and that's his language, is at the core of all societies, and that we have evolved as social creatures, and that, quote, the human ability to construct societies has become an instinct. It is not just something we can do, it is something we must do. So in his book, Christakis takes examples from what he calls unintentional communities, such as shipwrecks and other stranded groups, intentional communities, such as Brook Farm, the Shakers, Kibbutzim, Twin Oaks, and others, and then some artificial communities, such as the Amazon Mechanical Turk and other crowdsourcing technologies. And he looks at throughout all of these unintentional, intentional, and artificial communities, he looks at the presence of the social suite in communities that last and to the breakdown or absence of some social suite features in those that do not last. Right? So just to make some sense out of that, here are the 8 components from the book Blueprint that Christakis tells us are part of this social suite. Here are the characteristics. So one is the capacity to have and recognize individual identity. The second one is love for partners and offspring. The third is friendship. The fourth is social networks, and that both predates and includes those that are online now, our digital networks. Cooperation. The sixth one is preference for one's own group or in-group bias, which we've spoken about already in terms of that us-centric or group-centric developmental worldview. So again, in Christakis' model, he refers to in-group bias as a preference for one's own group. Mild hierarchy is his 7th characteristic, and he describes that in a little bit more detail as relative egalitarianism, in which we afford more prestige to some group members, and it's typically those who can teach us things or have many connections than to others. So it's relative egalitarianism, which he refers to as mild hierarchy. And then finally, social learning and teaching, that in this social suite and our instinct towards society, that we're not on our own. Right? We rely on each other's to teach us. So again, those are the 8 characteristics of Christakis' social suite as conveyed to us in his book Blueprint. And it's included here because in his argument, we no longer kind of choose society. We are instinctively drawn to it. We kind of have to be part of society. Right? And each of these 8 components of the social suite are obviously developed in some detail with examples throughout the course of the book. So thank you again for tuning in. These last 4 episodes, including this one, are giving us some of the ways into the collective perspectives and the collective tools and approaches we might use for our collective healing. So thank you again, and as always, for tuning in. I'll see you the next time.